Today, I'm going to talk about the Lake Stevens event the WKBF just fished in for its 4th of 5 of the season. If you've been following along with the 2024 KFNW Tour Series, and you already know what summertime fishing is like in the Pacific Northwest, tough, ridiculously tough is what it is these days. And this tournament will prove just that. But what's the reason? Is it the pleasure boaters, the weather changes, just stubborn fish? Man, everyone that went into Lake Stevens knew it was going to be a tough event. I don't have the answers, but I do talk to a few anglers in this episode that fished the event and know all about Lake Stevens for sure from past events as well. I talked to Jordan and Josh Duggar, and we also talked to the winners Citha Mao in this episode, so you're not going to want to miss that. Stay tuned for sure. It's definitely worth it. We're going to start off with the midday update. I know, why bother with the midday update? I don't know. I think it's important just to figure out how the morning started and how the day ends. Just kind of a neat storyline, if you will, I suppose. But by 9:30 a.m., a total of 20 fish have been submitted to the Tourney X leaderboard. Not a lot. It's still enough, though. It's making an event for sure. But not a single limit had been caught at this time. Junior Zarate was leading with 3 fish and a total of 48 3/4 of an inch. Citha Mao was just behind him with a total of 41 1/4 inches. Kevin Amaral was in third fish with 2 fish and a total of 36 1/4 inches. Not a bad start to the day. Actually, yeah, not bad though. These are good numbers for 9:30 in the morning. The afternoon bite, summertime, maybe that was the key. You had to wait, man. Wait it out. Find your spot. Wait it out. It's crazy, but it happens. Moving on to the big bass spot. Over 4 fish over 20 inches were caught in this event. So even though it had like a pretty small limits of caught, man, there's still some giants out there. The biggest one of the day would go to Kevin Armorall. He caught a 21.5-inch largemouth, which is pretty unique, catching a pretty giant largemouth on a smallmouth dominant lake like Lake Stevens. Good deal for him. And he would take home the big check for $256 and a $100 gift card from Three Rivers Tackle, located in Richland, Washington. If you're in the area, man, check them out. It's a good tackle shop. They got everything there. The owners are super cool. Everything's good, man. They definitely have what you will need for the area for sure, especially around here, Columbia River, but I'm pretty sure to work in lakes and rivers that you're used to. Getting into the top 10, man. The top 10 results don't paint a clear enough picture for how difficult this tournament actually was. Just to give you a different idea or a little perspective here, Chris Williams, he's won 2 events in a row this season for the WKBF, and he would finish this event 18th with 1 fish, which was an 18-inch smallmouth. Still a decent-sized fish for sure. And longtime WKBF Tour competitor Joshua Duggar wasn't able to put a fish on the leaderboard at all. It's a super tough event. That does not happen very often for a Duggar, if you will. But just how tough was it, man? I'm going to go ahead and ask the Duggar brothers on how tough it was for them. This was not an easy event for sure, but they'll have better answers than I do. So we just jump into that right quick. Today I'm talking to the Duggar brothers, Josh and Jordan, 2 veterans and future legends of the WKBF and the KFNW. They both fished the Lake Stevens event, which was a tough event. 29 registered competitors caught a total of 43 bass. It's an average of 1.5 per person. Calling it tough is probably the understatement of the season. Did you guys know it was going to be tough going into it?
Yeah, I had zero expectations going into it. Stevens kicks my butt every time, as you can see. It didn't change this time either.
I say the last tournament we had there previously, I think it was a couple years ago, same results. Very few fish, but it was a lot of big fish.
Was there any weather patterns that changed between free fishing into the tournament day?
We didn't pre-fish, honestly. We just kind of went in blind with face-off history, kind of fished that. And then I don't think the weather was too crazy. It was just boat traffic that changed.
Did you catch most of your fish in the morning or the evening? You caught 2 fish for the day, Jordan.
Yeah. It's to start the morning, I had fish on my graph in 20 feet of water chasing bait fish. But after I caught my first one, they all disappeared. And then I didn't get my second one till noon, just on a random cast.
Were you able to find fish, Josh, on your depth finder and stuff?
Yeah, I was seeing them, but all I could get to bite were perch. I caught a handful of undersize, 10 inchers, but I mean, it's about what I expected, to be honest. I don't know what it is with me in that lake, but it just doesn't happen.
Do you fish it a lot or often?
No. And no. If we don't have another tournament there, I probably will never fish it again. So
Did you try different techniques, like changing it up throughout the day?
Oh, I threw the kitchen sink at him. I mean, there wasn't anything I didn't throw, but I threw shallow. I threw out in 45 feet of water. I was trying everything.
Deep, shallow, different structures and covers as well.
Yeah, anything I could find. I fished docks for an hour and a half, just hoping something. I mean, I just wanted like a 12-incher to put on the boat. I didn't care.
What do you think makes Lake Stevens so tough?
Well, the people I've talked to that do well out there consistently, they talk a lot about chasing the kokanee schools. Um, the big bass will just kind of follow them out in the deeps and just kind of wander. And then that just with a lot of boat traffic, makes it really tough. Even when the wind's not blowing, it's hard to keep a spot just because you're dealing with all the boat wakes and jet skiers and whatnot. But
Do you have to do any float planes at all?
not on that lake. I don't think I've ever seen one land on Stevens.
It's just a tough lake, then. It's just tough, no matter what you do.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like once you located fish, it seemed like they disappeared after either boats went by or you caught a fish. Because that's what happened to me. Either other anglers passing me spooked them, or then when I caught my first one, they went way deeper, and then I had to deal with bigger boats, and I just couldn't find them after that.
It's crazy, and it seemed like everyone's having a hard time. Only 2 limits were caught.
Yeah, except for Junior, I watched him catch most of those.
Really?
He wasn't too far from me. Yeah.
Would you say summer fishing on the west side is pretty tough, in period, on any lake, or I guess moments?
Yeah, I mean, I think every lake has its bad month or two. Lakes like Alder that are a lot cooler during the summer, I think get affected a lot less by the summer lull. But I mean, even out, I'm right off of taps, and you even just see taps kind of dwindle down throughout the summer when it gets real hot. But again, that's another high boat traffic lake, so I don't know if it's weather or just motors ripping through all the time that kind of has them on edge.
Very true. So you've both been fishing the WKBF for about 6 years. Which direction do you think the sport's heading as far as like growth goes, and as far as like the level of competition's headed?
Definitely growing every year. A lot of guys are getting better. I'm not contributing to the competition this year, that's for sure. It's been a rough year, but I mean, if you look at top scores throughout this year, a lot of them are mid 90s or at least breaking the 90s. This Chris William guy just is killing us. I don't know who invited him, but but
Have you talked to
yeah.
him at all?
Oh yeah. He's a good guy. That's why I'm comfortable saying that. But
I would agree with everything he said. I think it's fun to see the growth and all the new people come in and actually have success. Like it shows like we're all learning stuff, but people can still come in and compete with us. I don't think many of us had a ton of experience bass fishing before we joined here. Like obviously there were a few, but I never really got into it until I started doing tournaments with watching kayak bass fishing.
And then my last question is, so the final event is on Banks Lake, September 14th. Both of you finished inside the top 10 of the 2019 event. Have you started to prepare for that event?
It's only 30 minutes from me, so I've kind of been preparing all year, which is probably going to be my downfall because I thought I knew where fish were and now I can't find them. So.
Yeah, I was out there yesterday. Got a good sized carp on a spook and got a gnarly sunburn. So I think I'm prepared.
Yeah.
It's such a big lake. Is there like you just avoid some spots of it, just periods, no matter what?
I only avoid it because I can't get to them. Like the launches are so spread out. Like in order to cover the entire lake, you need an actual boat. There's a lot of spots I've never fished that I want to just because I can't get to them.
And then Jordan, you're currently sitting in 3rd place in the AOI standing, just 9 points behind Chris Williams, the leader, leaving you a chance to win it all at Banks Lakes. Do you approach it any differently, or still just like any other tournament?
I'm just hoping to keep my spot at 3rd to qualify for Dvorak. That's my only goal. All I gotta do is be, I think, top 10. I prefer top 5 to really be comfortable. Depending on how the cup guys right below me are doing. I don't
Are
feel
you looking
confident
at taking?
catching Chris, honestly.
No,
No. He's been too
he's having
consistent this
a
year.
weird, man. Has anybody won 2 in a row since? I know Andrew Larson did it in 2019.
Yeah, he won 4 in a row that year.
Yeah, he did.
I think that's it, like, as far as I
mean,
know.
I was gonna say the most recent, if anyone did, would probably be Jim Davis or Dan.
Right.
Those would be the two that, if anyone did in the last couple of years, would have been them.
I think that was the interesting part about this tournament is like how many like veterans were down in the bottom of that standing list. Like Dan Walker, he had a hard time. Like it looked
Yeah,
like a really tough day.
Dan's on that
Well,
same struggle bus I am. We've both had tankers of years.
I think I heard a couple of the guys who did decent were actually just trolling and got randomly caught up. Yeah, they weren't really targeting areas; they were just random.
You know it's going to be tough when legends like the Duggars are having problems fishing, man, the lakes. And they're used to it too. They know that lake, as they have mentioned before. We'll just jump right here into the top 10 with the other Duggar. Lacey Duggar caught 2 fish and finished in 10th place. Jordan Duggar finished in 9th place with a total of 35.5 inches. In 8th place with a total of 39.5 inches with Jason Carlson. Eddie French, he would place 7th with the total of 42.75 of an inch. That's hard, dude. Patrick Kelly, too, a veteran himself, he finished in 6th place with 47 inches. And then with 4 fish on the Turniax leaderboard, Trey Potts would finish 5th with a total of 64.5 inches. Get used to hearing his name, man. Yeah, he had a really rewarding weekend at the KBF event this last weekend over on the lower Umpqua River. We'll be doing a video of that next week, man. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can see that video when it comes out as well. Kevin Armstrong with a big fish winner would finish in 4th place, a total of 65.75 inches. Now we're going to get into the top 3 here. Pat Moore, man, he would catch a limit, would finish in 3rd place, a total of 66.75 of an inch. He would take home a check of $251. An interesting fact, Pat caught his fish using a custom painted square bill, which he talks about on his channel, which is more sporting. I'll post a link of that in the description too. He's a good guy, man. This guy tells a good story. I enjoy his channel for sure. Junior Zarate finished in 2nd place with a 4-fish limit and a giant 20.5-inch smallmouth, just missing out on that big bass pot. And a total of 69.25 inches. He would take home $753, man. Not a bad deal for a day of fishing, $753. This stuff's getting good, man. Growing is the idea. Kayak fishing's not a lot to get into. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to get into, I would say. Startup cost, I mean, yeah, they are what they are, but that's every hobby. Try golf. I'm just kidding. Don't try golf. Golf is. And the winner of the WKBF Lake Stevens events, longtime competitor and first-time winner. Congratulations to him, man. Citha Mao did an awesome job. He caught a 5-fish limit, a total of 80.5 inches. And we're going to go cut to him real quick to see what he had to say about this event as well. Citha Mao is back, this time to talk about winning the WKBF Lake Stevens event. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A tough tournament for most. What was your plan of attack leading up to the tournament on Saturday?
Well, I knew getting a limit was going to be huge going into this tournament just because about 2 years ago we fished it and it was about the same conditions and it was pretty tough. So coming out with a limit was going to go a long ways.
What is it about Lake Stevens you think that makes it like difficult to fish?
I don't know, I think it's just because of all the activities that go on, especially on like during the summertime and whatnot. You get a lot of pleasure boats out there, and they have like people that are practicing for like canoe races and whatnot, and they're just people everywhere, and it's not that big of a lake to hold tournament. I mean, it's I mean 20, 30 guys. Just going to be a limited of spots.
So you caught 2 giant smallmouth, a 20-inch and an 18-inch on a day. Not a lot of fish were being caught. I think only you and one other person, Pat Moore, had a limit. How were you
Mhm.
able to find them? What were you doing any
So
different?
no, I really had only 2 spots that I was banking on. Uh, my first spot it was just this huge boulder that I found during pre-fishing, and I knew I utilized my live scope for this one because I know you were gonna have to go find some type of structure that. I mean, there was fish, there was bait everywhere. I mean, this could have been a perch tournament because of so much perch being caught. It was ridiculous. You could not keep them off. But yeah, the pre-fish definitely helped me dial in the fish that were going to bite, and they were the ones that were around structure. So I spent, I think, 75% of my day around that boulder. I just knew there was fish going in and out of it. I was watching the activity around it. I'd catch one, come back 30 minutes, come back an hour later, and luckily catch another one. And I just kept rinsing and repeating that one spot until I got a limit.
Finesse fishing or power fishing?
Finesse fishing, yeah. I was very fortunate. My first fish came at like my third cast in. I was throwing a 2.8 Kayak in some grass that I saw some fish, and I got one. I think that was my 16 and a half, 16 and a half, 16 and a quarter. I don't remember. It was a 16 incher, and that one came right away. So that was a plus. I knew trying to get a limit was going to be a grind. So um, yeah, I just like I said, after I caught that one, I couldn't get any more bites. Not there was a lot of dinks being caught. I mean, just hanging. I was trying to follow the same pattern I did a couple years ago, which I was following bait balls, but this time it was just there was no fish around them. It was just all perch. So I ended up going through like I don't know 2.5 packs of 2.8 Kitex. I was just like they're just biting off the tails. So most of the other fish, I caught two fish off of the Kitech, and I think four of my other fish I caught off of a drop shot, Berkeley flatworm.
Very cool. Yeah, I was going to ask about the live scopes you had mentioned before. Do you think that was like the advantage part of it?
I think so. I at least for me, like I said, at least the bite that I found, I saw fish around structure, and when I saw fish around structure, those were the ones that were biting. I mean, I saw wolf packs roaming around, but I could not get to them fast enough, and yeah, the perch would just get to it before I can even get down to them. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, I talked to the Duggars. They mentioned the perch too were pretty wild.
oh yeah,
Sure. So you met your goal and qualified for the KFNW Kayak Bass Classic. Do you plan on being there?
oh definitely, yeah, yeah. I after just seeing videos and hearing everybody talk about it, I was just like, man, I really want to go to this one. So I was a little surprised that I took the win at Lake Stevens just because I knew there was going to be fish being caught, and I knew there were some really good ones in that lake. But I was really surprised that one other person was able to get a limit. And
That was pretty crazy. There's some big names at the bottom of that.
yeah, yeah, it's that lake is not easy. It's pretty tough.
It looked that way for sure. Are you doing anything to prepare now for the Dorshak Reservoir?
Uh Kinda, yeah. I'm going through as much information I can find online about it. So I'm looking through my gear. I don't know how many times I've looked at my gear. I'm probably just going to end up taking whatever I can fit in the truck at this point, and then go from there. I'm hoping to get there Thursday morning and pre-fish, and then able to pre-fish Friday as well until the 11 o'clock deadline. So I'm hoping to get at least a day and a half worth of pre-fishing because that that reservoir is pretty big. I don't think I've fished a lake that big before. I, I mean, I guess I've fished Lake Washington, but I kind of generally stay in like one area in Lake Washington, so I have never like ventured that far out from there. But it's definitely going to be a challenge. But I mean, the smallmouth being pulled out of there, I think it's going to be well worth it if I can get one of those 7, 8 pounders. That's what I'm hoping for, at least.
For sure. In October, that's a good chance for sure. The fall bite should be
Yeah, there's
good
definitely
that
going to be
month.
a lot of hammers there too. So that's going to be fun.
That is going to be fun for sure. That's all I have. Anything you want to add?
No, not really. just been surreal. I finally, believe it or not, this was my first WKBF win. So I've been knocking on the door for a while, and it's good to get one under the belt.
For sure. Congrats on that too.
Thank you.
That was a good one to win.
Yeah.
Tough for sure.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Citha Mao again, dude, for getting his first win, the WKBF, and punched his ticket into Door Shack for the KFNW Kayak Bass Classic. That's going to be a very cool event. Hammers for sure. I know that was one of his goals he had mentioned in this long form podcast we did earlier this year. So that's cool to see, man. Goals being met for sure. But next week we go to the results of the OKBF Lower Umpqua River. This event had a special side pot. You're not going to want to miss that for sure. It's interesting as it is. And I will put the tags for Jordan and Josh Duggar and for Citha in the description for this video. Go ahead and follow them on Facebook and Instagram. I don't know if they have Facebook. Instagram. I need to get better with Facebook. But Instagram and YouTube. I don't think Citha has a YouTube, but he does have an Instagram for sure. Yeah, like, follow, subscribe. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Two More Cast Podcast. Not Twitter. What am I talking about? I don't do Twitter. But Facebook and Instagram at Two More Cast Podcast. I think Instagram is just Two More Cast, but I'll write those down in the description too. You can find them. And also, we're going to start updating for when the schedule's coming for the 2025 season. Start updating those on the website at twomorecast.com. Post tournaments from Washington, Oregon, and Idaho on there, boat and kayak. And there's usually some other things on there, but that is going to be it, man. Next week, Umpqua River. We're also going to try and do the West Coast Championship video too. That's a little more detail. There's a lot of people in that one. It's a good event too, though. If you haven't checked it out, check out West Coast Championship on Facebook. They're doing a great job over there, like posting updates from other competitors and stuff, videos. It's awesome. Good stuff for sure.